So, sorry. So basically, Ken asked us at Christine and I to share some good practice for business development, how to develop a good collaboration with a private partner, how to do the selection if one is serious, where we can put our effort for develop a research project. So I'm just share some best practice on bullet point. I'm gonna share you some comment based on our experience. So first, small is beautiful. What this means is when we talk with our partner for the first time, I think that we have to think that we have to develop a collaboration. Is it the first collaboration? We must know each other. So I don't think it's a good idea to think about a very big and complex project. So let's start with a small project just to know what is the need of our customer, and our partner will know how we works and what we can do. So I think that is a good point to start a partnership. The second practice is meet potential partner with a member of your team that can connect about technical aspect. So often when we are talking with the SME, they want to go in technical aspect quickly. They ask some data. They are asking about our experience in the field. So if you can have someone that can answer to this technical aspect, it's something good, and you will keep the confidence of your partner. The second one, the third one, ask the partner to write their needs. So sometimes when we're talking during 1 hour, we are the partner explain his project, but also we can talk about different things, and just to be sure that the proposal or the research that the tech will do it will correspond to their need. So maybe a good idea is just at the end to ask to your partner to send you by email the device and the technical aspect on what you want that to work. Do project based on your expertise and equipment. So sometimes when we develop project, we don't necessarily have all the expertise and equipment. So we say, yes, we can do this project, but in fact, we can do 75 or 80% of the project. The other part, is it an external, or you need some external expertise, or we need to collaborate with other TACs. So I think, again, when we start the first collaboration with a new partner, be sure that we can achieve the goals fast and by your own. So you're not dependent of a third party that can put some more delay of the project. Again, the second one, start with project, then you know you can achieve fast the goals. So I think if you want to prove that you're a good tech and you can do the difference in the development, if we have a good do a good work in a relatively short time, that could be good. I have a SME and large enterprise as partners. So sometimes someone say we are working with large enterprise because they are more money, more funding. That's true. That's relatively true. But when you stop a project, that's difficult. And if you have a SME as a partner, it's small, a little project. But again, if you lose one SME project, it's not difficult to have another one. And if you have a mix of the two kind of this business as partner, it's something's good. Ask an in-cash contribution for a research project with a new partner. So for example, when we do a engage from Ansart, we can raise $25,000 with no in-cash contribution. But if you want to see that the partner have the capacity to do something with the results, for example, at InnoFiber, we ask 3,000 cash contribution before to write the proposal for an engage. And if the engage is not accepted, that did not happen frequently, we keep the money. And by the fact, if a company doesn't have the capacity to pay $3,000 or $5,000 for a project with a value of $25,000, it will not have the capacity to do more project after. So it's going to be a one-hit wonder, just a one project, and after it would go to see another TAC to benefit from an engage. So I don't think it's a good partner and to develop a partnership. If you meet a startup or a SME and you're not sure that you can apply at Ensort, what I suggest to do is forward the form F183, where you fill out the information about the company, about the annual revenue, annual benefits, and the staff. So like this, you will have a good picture of the company and the capacity. And if again you're not sure, you can send this file to a manager at Ensort, and he will tell you if it will be eligible or not. So it's something that could be interesting if you talk with a startup. So we're not losing time to writing a proposal, and the answer will be the partner is not eligible for the grant. Before to accept a project also, I think it's very important to confirm with your team that the people, the researcher, the technician are motivated by the project. If we do a project that no one is motivated to do it, as a manager, we will always push the project and we'll push the team to do it, and it will be hard to get a good result at the end. And the last one, and probably the most important, collaborate with partners who have a fit and not for money. So often we start a project and maybe during the first meeting, you see that it would be difficult to work with this company because their needs are high and they want everything in a short time, but you know that you don't necessarily have the capacity to do it relatively fast. But is it a big project that is very interesting? In this time, I think that is not maybe the best deal that you can do in the week. So looking more for a partner that understand what you are working, understand your expertise, and you have a fit. So if you have a problem or if there's some bad result, it will be easier to deal with it and to plan for more research with with this new partner. So I don't know if there are some question, or Christine, I can answer some question after Christine if you want. You can present your.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure there's probably lots of questions. So I'll present some tips that I have as well, and then we'll start a lively discussion after that. So I thought those were excellent. Whoops, let me just share my screen here now. Just opened Excel by mistake here. Okay. Can you see my presentation? I don't think I'm in presentation mode though, am I? Does it look normal to you?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just one screen, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So just a little bit about us. We're the Canadian Food and Wine Institute Innovation Center. We're one of 4 innovation centers, and we have 2 TACs at Niagara College, the Walker Advanced Manufacturing Innovation Center, and then us, the CFWI Innovation Center. And we focus on food and beverage research. So we do things like product development, food safety and regulatory assessment, shelf life studies, sensory, beverage analysis, and we've got a pilot processing plant for beverages and liquids, and we also have a cannabis research license. So we do lots of things, food and beverage. So I've been for the last 8 years, I started out as an industry liaison officer with research, and then I was a project manager for the Walker Advanced Manufacturing Innovation Center, and then project manager more recently for the CFWI Innovation Center for the past at least 5 years. And we've been doing a lot of business development over the years. So some of the best practices that I have, a lot of them do relate to what Jean-Philippe said. One is our philosophy. So we really look at the win-win-win nature of projects. So to take on a project, it's got to be a great win for the client, first of all. It has to be very good for our research team, and that's our research leads, the professors, the consultants we work with, and our students. And it has to be overall great for the funding agency. Jean-Philippe touched on this as well, about picking projects that motivate your team. And that's really important because there's no shortage of projects out there, but it's important to keep the team engaged and to keep that philosophy in mind that it's got to be a win for everyone involved. And that way everyone puts everything into it and it's a more exciting project. The next tip is that it's important to be very client-centric and to focus on the clients or the partner's needs, not their wants. So partners often come to us with just a whole bunch of things they think they need, a whole bunch of wants. They often need a lot, they want a lot. But what we do is we take a really client-centric approach, and we, in our first few calls, we start to say to them, okay, this is what you say you want. However, first, what you need is to step back a little bit. Maybe you need to do a food safety assessment, or maybe you need to do some market research first to see if this concept will actually work. So it has to be safe. It has to have some potential. It has to have legs. So we try to really look at partners look at clients as true partners. It's not a one and done type of project that we're interested in. We're interested in long-term partnerships. And that starts by being really open with honest communication and letting clients know what we think they need that will actually help them grow, not the thing that they're actually asking for. So for example, sometimes clients might come to us and say they want microbiology testing or a huge shelf life study that might cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And we say to them, okay, we could do this, but it's not really what you need. What you need to do is take a few steps back and start with something simple that usually doesn't cost as much, but it'll be better for them in the long term. So that's really important. It's a team. In terms of business development, it's really a team sport. Everybody is involved. So everyone in our center, even the students, are involved in this. Everyone passes referrals to us. A lot of the leads we get are referrals from past students, current students, professors, consultants, our current staff, all of us. We're all involved in business development to some extent. We engage in media opportunities wherever we can. Our center manager, Lyndon, is a great talker and he loves to do media events. Our senior food scientist, Dr. Anna Christina, same thing. She's very skilled in many areas. So we take advantage of these opportunities. And our business development coordinator, Beth Best, she loves to organize panels for different trade shows. We all find our little niche with what we like to do, and we expand on that, and we all engage in business development. It's also important to find some really key events for your TAC. For us, one of our key events is the Sobeys Roadshow. We discovered it just a few years ago, and that's where we meet our target clients, like many of our target clients. Another good one is the CL show, where Dr. Anna Christina, our senior food scientist, has started up a pitch competition that she runs with others there. But it's really important to find some key events. We have our annual food and beverage summit that we do. It kind of got changed with COVID last year, but it's important to find some key events to focus a lot of energy in and then lesser energy in other things. Another thing that's really important is having a good intake process. So when we started 7 or 8 years ago, we did have a sort of a form that we sent to people, but it wasn't called an application. It was, I actually forget what it was called, maybe a collaboration opportunity or something like that. But really it's an application. For a funded project, clients have to apply for it and we decide who gets the funding based on many different criteria. So we have some really key questions on that form. For example, when was your business registered? How many FTEs do you have? Do you have cash to contribute to this project? What have you done to move the research forward so far? What is your proposed solution to your research challenge? We ask some key questions here that helps us to qualify the client to see if they would be a good partner for us and to see if they're eligible for funding. So that's really important. Another part of the intake process is a scoping call. So after we get the application, the partner has a quick call with our business development coordinator. She's not an expert in any one of our fields, although she's a generalist in all of the fields. So she's very smart that way. But she helps to further scope the project. So if she's scoping a project for us, she'll ask questions about the client's budget. Do you have a budget? What is your budget? This is really important to know because we don't do things for free, and we don't want to waste the client's time through the sales channel if they don't have enough money to contribute. Maybe there's a better solution for them somewhere else. After the scoping call, we have a follow-up call with a technical expert to further assess the opportunity to see if it's feasible. And then the expert will say, okay, here's how we start. Maybe it's an interactive visit to start, maybe a food safety assessment followed by a longer project using an NSERC fund or something like that, or an IRAP project, just depending on what the issue is. It's also really important to manage the sales cycle. Different innovation centers have different challenges. Some of you might struggle in getting clients. Some might have too many clients to deal with, and then there's variances in the middle there. With the food and beverage right now, with us, we have probably too many, not too many, but a lot of clients, more clients than we have the ability to meet the demand at the moment. Managing the sales cycle is really important either way, though, because you've got to track your leads, you've got to have proper follow-up so that you can move them through the sales cycle properly. Another thing that helps us is having a project review committee. We started this several years ago. A committee of about 10 people meets every 2 weeks, and we score each project application to see if we believe that the project, the partner, is a good fit. So the committee has to approve a project before we can write a proposal or release funds for that particular project. We don't need the review committee for straight fee-for-service work. We handle that a little bit different, but for funded projects, we do use it. The other tip that I have is valuing your services, and Jean-Philippe touched on this as well. Don't give yourself away. Slowly groom your clients towards paying more and more. So a client it's a long-term partnership. That's how we look at it. In the beginning, when I started 7 or 8 years ago, we used to do projects for free with our funded projects. We had a large NSERC IE grant for 5 years, and there were projects there where the partner put in zero cash, only in kind. And what we found is those partners were not as committed. We didn't vet them very well. They weren't, probably a bunch of them aren't even in business anymore. Some of them are, and we've got some great projects out of it, but there are some who aren't. But you know, when you start up, you learn these things, right? You learn how to choose who the good clients are. And doing some of these things will help, like having the application, the key questions, and asking for cash. Like Jean-Philippe, we don't do anything for free. Even in NSERC Engage, we won't do an Engage for free, even though cash isn't required. There's a minimum of $5,000 that we need for that, and we never do anything for free, basically. We've slowly groomed our clients over the years because they started off, like I say, doing things for free many years ago. So we started off asking for maybe $500, $1,000, $2,000, but by now everyone knows that what we provide is very valuable and they do pay. The last tip I have is about leveraging funding. It's really important to come up with customized solutions that meet the client's needs. We don't try to look at a fund and then push a fund on a client. It's more about learning about the partner, learning about what their needs are, what they're eligible for, and then we put a customized solution together for them. So for example, we often do start with an interactive visit and then move into a IE Extend funded project, but there are other funds out there. There's FedDev, there's Green Center, there's IRAP. So it really depends on on the relationships you have with the funding agencies, on where the lead came from. If it's IRAP client, IRAP lead, you're probably not going to push an NSERC IE Extend project on that particular partner, but it really depends on all the situations. So we treat everyone differently, but also knowing that it is helpful to have some, it's helpful to have some canned solutions, but put together in a creative way that meets the client's needs with the bundling that we do. So those are some of my overall general tips for business development. And maybe Jean-Philippe, we can see if anyone has any questions or comments on what you just heard.
No question, no comments? Can I see your slide again? Which one do you want to see, Omar? The last one? Can you
Yeah,
go
just
back?
the last one, as I was waiting on the screenshot until
Oh,
all of
okay,
them
here we
were
go.
up.
There it is, there it is.
No, thank you for that.
Okay. So I'll just stop sharing here. If I can figure out how to do that. Pause, share, okay.
I can start if you don't mind.
Sure.
With a question. Yeah. Hello again. So Julian. Thank you very much for this presentation. That's very useful. Yeah, definitely. How do you consider, do you select your company based on if they have some scientific background or not? Because I feel that I see a big difference between a startup who don't have some scientific background, that have no idea of what we do. They know what we can offer, but they don't know what we are doing really in the lab, versus some company who have dedicated scientific staff. Do you select one over the other, or do you don't mind, or I don't know?
And are you asking myself or Jean-Philippe or either one of us?
Yeah, the two of you actually. I don't know. Yeah, the two of you. Both
Sure,
of you.
so I can answer that first. If all things are equal with two different opportunities, we look at the value of the in-kind that the company is providing if it's a funded project. So if all other things were equal, I would select the people who have the scientific expertise because they have more valuable in-kind towards the project. However, that's usually not a big factor, especially if it's straight fee for service, because we've got the scientific expertise. So it would also depend on if the expertise they're providing is similar to what we have, or if it's different, and then how it contributes to the project. So if they had the expertise we don't, and they were going to contribute that toward the project, that would be really valuable in kind for a project. Jean-Philippe, what do you think about that?
Yes, I agree with you. So, well, basically, when we work with company, I think what is important is your partner must know what he wants, because sometimes it's coming and you want everything, and I think that you need some help to identify what is the things on what we can work with him. So if you have a scientific staff or not, I don't think it's really important, because we are the scientific that can help the partner to achieve what he wants. But the customer must to know what he's wanting. Sometimes you just want everything at the same time, and in this case, I don't think it's a good project. But yeah, and you're talking about also maybe a startup. I think it is important to see is say often when we are doing research, we start with a small project, but we want that the project will be on the commercialization or on the market. So if the company is too small and you don't have the capacity to pay $5,000 for the research, how you will have the capacity to do the marketing and the commercialization of the result that you do. So I think the question, I think, is more on that aspect than on the scientific aspect for the partner.
That's great. Thank you.
And I actually have an example. We're working with a pet food company, and they actually have, when they applied for the project, they told us they were hiring a pet food nutritionist, which was very attractive to us because we obviously don't have that on staff. So something like that is nice to have for a project on pet food. So I have a question. What are, just overall to the group, what are some of your business development challenges? And what have you done to overcome some of them, or what help do you need from others in the room today?
I guess I could mention a challenge that we're still trying to figure out, and it's to do with the indigenous owned or minority owned businesses. In our, I guess, line of research, I guess the potential numbers of businesses of that nature is likely limited, and we're trying to understand either what's the best way of getting them to know about our resources available to them, and also how do we potentially find or reach out to them or know that they exist. So that's something that it's a question that's we're trying to answer.
Absolutely. Sorry, were you going to say something, Jean-Philippe?
Well, just to be sure that I understand your question. The question is how you can target the good scientists and to the good potential partner to collaborate. I'm not sure that I understand your question.
So part of the TAC, we have metrics on working with SMEs that are indigenous owned or minority owned, and finding those SMEs, at least with the research that we do, is a little difficult because their numbers may not be that great. So we personally don't know of many, and we're trying to understand either the two approaches you can do is either find out how to know about them and where, how to know that which ones exist and are out there, or find out how to market to them so that they know about you. And for both of those, we're still trying to understand how to do either of those things.
Okay, you can understand. So, well, basically what we're doing at Innofiber, we're doing collaboration with regional organizations. So, for example, there is a local development institution at the city of Three Rivers. So we collaborate with them. So we are doing some project of like some event, for example. We are there to help when there is a new startup. We are there in the startup congress, for example. We also work with other regional organisms that help SME in different fields. It could be in innovation, or also in Quebec, there's, I don't know if it's the same thing in the other province, but we have what we call the créneaux à quart. So is it like a network of industrial partner? So I think it's a good place where you can participate and see different kind of company, and it is some. I think that when you or a person from your TAC can participate at different organisms and event in your region, it can be something interesting that to meet this kind of SME.
And if I can also add to that, one thing that we are just starting to do is on our project application, we're adding a question to see if clients identify as Indigenous or minority, because otherwise we don't know if we're just getting an application through email, right? So that helps in terms of them self-identifying. And I think other ideas are reaching out on LinkedIn to different groups, or just as an individual for your company. posting that these opportunities exist for these groups and asking others to share and refer. Just some other ideas there of free ways to do it.
No, thank you for that. Yeah, we have been trying those approaches, and we'll and I think we have been looking for those conferences, so hopefully something can come from there. I think just the nature of tailings research is a little hard to kind of get into with some SMEs, and but well, I appreciate the info you guys have given us.
Does anyone else have any ideas to contribute about how to achieve this?
Actually, it may be a bit silly, but you may ask also your current collaborator if they are. I've done that with my collaborator because, yeah, for some reason, and actually a few of them were identified as a First Nation, and I had no clue actually. So yeah, I don't know. It's helping.
No, that's definitely good. And yeah, with that question on your intake form or your questionnaire for new clients, that definitely helps you know that from the get-go.
Yeah, exactly. How about anyone else? Do you have any challenges with business development that you would like help on from someone in the room, or things that you've overcome that you can share with others? Or have you heard anything you like? For example, Jean-Philippe, I loved what you said about how you charge $3,000 upfront to write an NSERC engage, and then you keep that if it's not successful.
Yeah.
That's not something that we do, but I think that is just an excellent tip that I'd like to start doing in our center.
Well, in fact, we not necessarily present this like this to our partner. So we said the partner always want to start quickly. So what we said is, okay, we're gonna ask you $3,000. We use that to start the project and to start the project and get some data before that we receive the grant. But of course, this is how we present that. But in fact, it's true, we are doing some pre-trial or some characterization before with this amount, but also that confirm that the partner is serious. And anyway, if for example, if you submit a engage that is not accepted, you can do some modification and resubmit after. So it's not really a big issue or a big risk for our partner. And sometimes there's some other opportunity or so. There's some provincial grant where we can apply with the application. But I think that the private sector must understand that yes, we are a public organization, but we are not working for free. And one of our objectives is to do more value in the community and in the business. And presently, probably that we are out at the same place, that we are looking for new staff. There's a lot of possibility of project, and we have to put our efforts in a project that could have a good result and could achieve the goals that we want and the partner want also.
Absolutely. Does anyone here have you had challenges asking for cash from clients? Do you find they want you to do things for free a lot?
Yes, I'm laughing because I find that when I heard both of you say that you're asking for cash for engages, I was like, as the budget person, I really want to ask for cash, but I feel like a lot of times the people that are focused on the engages, they're attracted to it because they don't want to have to give any cash, which maybe is not always the best though in picking out long-term partners to be working with. So I actually really like the idea of pushing to have that cash up front. For that 3,000 that you asked for at the beginning, how do you structure that then to collect 3,000? Is it a fee for service that you set it up as at the beginning when you're doing those engage applications?
Yes, we are sent an invoice of 3,000, and we say that it's a contribution for the research project, but we not necessarily put the $3,000 in the budget of the Engage.
Okay, so you put it in as a cash contribution on the Engage application, but regardless if it gets approved or not, you're still collecting 3,000 from them.
Well, we don't put the 2,000 in the Engage, so the budget in Engage is 20 in the form. It's 25,000, but in fact, is it $28,000?
Okay.
Right. So that's like a separate fee for service quote that you're acting upon.
And maybe another topic that we not necessarily discuss, but I think that the collaboration could be something interesting for the business development. So when we collaborate between TACs, it's something good. For example, if I'm collaborate with you, Samantha, on a project, I will know more about your expertise, about your equipment, and about your team. So if I have some potential partner that is looking for something that I can do, but I know that your team can do, so is it something interesting or so? So the collaboration between TACs is not always just for to do the project, but there's some benefits after the project to know what is the capacity of each TAC. So I don't know if someone have some expertise about the collaboration that demonstrate that it was helpful for the business development, but I think that it's something that it is important to consider when we have the chance to collaborate.
Absolutely. And I see there's a question in the chat from Omar. Omar has the problem of clients trying to get more than the 20 hours on interactive visits. Who here has had that happen? Probably everybody. And how do some of you handle that? I know for us, if we try to stick to the scope of the scope of work, the work plan for the interactive visit, and it's just a muscle we had to develop over the years with, letting them know that there's this much time left. It does help though when there's another fund that in an interactive visit can be moved into. So right now we have the NSERC IE Engage, extend grant, so we can move it into that. But if you have another fund, either an umbrella fund or something you can write, I find it's good to be able to present a solution to them rather than just it's over. Another solution I heard was from David Dexter from Sheridan earlier on a different session, who mentioned that they sell a retainer to clients. So it could be a 5-hour retainer for after the interactive visit, and then the person can use those hours for that as another solution to that if they want to go over. Or now that 2 interactive visits per fiscal year are allowed, another solution could be a second interactive visit. What other ideas does anyone have?
Maybe you can suggest to your customer to include this work in another project to continue what you did in the interactive visit.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking at
you
Omar's.
can say, for example, if you want, I don't know, 10 more hours, you can say, okay, that's fine, I will do it for you, but we have to think that during in this 10 hour, we have to think about the next step and, for example, begin to start a proposal, for example, at NSERC or looking for another grant.
And I think it's also helpful to let them know the expectation up front with the interactive visit. It's not just to achieve the scope of work, but it's also within a time frame, because sometimes the scope can't be finished in that 20 hours and it might need more. So setting those expectations up front can help. So we are at time in case anyone needs to go, but I'm happy to stay on. Maybe Jean-Philippe is as well if there are any additional questions.
Oh, that's fine for me.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to thank both of you for the presentation. There was a lot of really good information. I was typing up a lot of it so I can share it with our team afterwards. So thank you to both of you.
You're welcome. And if you have any question, you can find my contact or ask Ken my contact. send me or send us an email or our account, and if we can help, it would be my pleasure to do that.
Yes, and mine as well.
Great.
And it was a
thank you.
pleasure co-hosting with you, Jean-Philippe. Nice to meet everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
care.
Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye.